Yeah, can't complain. What's been new with you?
Not too much. Took a scenic drive over the weekend and just been hanging out. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, cool, man.
I like to
Yeah,
drive out to wine country here in Long Island. It's really pretty.
okay. Well, all that driving just helps you decompress a little bit.
Yeah, no, I like to. Yeah, like every Saturday, I like to take like an hour and a half drive and just kind of clear my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool, man.
And the scenery is just is very like wide open fields on both sides of the road. So it's just like you can feel your consciousness very wide.
Right. Yeah, man, that's cool, man. But yeah, have you ever heard of this thing called the Mandela effect?
Yes, I heard of the Mandela effect years ago, and every now and then people will bring it up, and I found it pretty fascinating.
Okay, that's for those who don't know what it is, you mind explaining to the audience?
So basically, Mandela effect has to do with the fact that millions of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, when really he got out of prison in 1990 and he lived until I think 2013 and then died. So there's millions of people that have this memory, myself included, that he died in prison. So do you remember this, Kevin?
Yeah, well, I thought he passed way before, the 2000s.
Right.
But yeah, so basically, it's like people remember one thing, but the reality is different, or people think like, like the past has been changed or something.
Correct. Yeah, basically.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, like some interesting occurrences.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
mean, some of the interesting ones are like I'm sure people have seen the Monopoly guy, like whether he has a monocle or not. And apparently, he never had a monocle. He was always just plain.
yeah, I actually do remember him having one, but yeah, they
Well,
say
there's
he.
even a movie. There's a movie where the guy he's imitating the Monopoly guy, and he has a monocle. So they're like redoing the scene in a movie, and in the movie he has the monocle. So it's just kind of showing like that popular culture has the same memory,
Right. Yeah, it's like how do all these people remember one thing, but
and
supposedly
very
it never
specific.
existed.
Yeah, very specific things like a monocle.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that you just kind of make up.
Yeah, it's not like a red shirt. It's very specific,
Right.
and there's
Right.
millions of people that remember him having that.
Yeah. Another one I've heard is the spelling of Berenstein Bears.
That's a huge one, Berenstein Bears, because we all like. I mean, I'm 37. You're how old are you, Kevin?
40.
40. Yeah. So I mean, we all grew up with the Berenstein Bears books, and not one time did I ever hear someone call it the Berenstain Bears.
Right. But they say it's like spelled Berenstain.
Yeah, AIN is the, I guess, original spelling of it. But it doesn't make sense that anyone that remembers that, they're going to say Berenstein, not Berenstain.
Right.
So that to
Yeah.
me, that's one of the biggest ones that stands out about the Mandela effect. Other than like Mandela dying in prison, I think that's a pretty significant one too, which is probably why they named the effect on Mandela.
Right. Well, this other one I've heard about. I don't know, like if this is valid, but okay, the pizza rolls. It's like a pizza company that starts with a T. What do you remember it being?
You said pizza rolls.
Yeah, like it's out pizza rolls. It's like TO. That's what it starts with. I just want to see what you're gonna call it.
I don't. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Last part is Tino's.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Sorry, that doesn't ring a bell.
So Tostinos
Oh, Tostinos. Yeah. Okay, I remember those.
was actually Totinos.
Ah, interesting. Or like the Flintstones is actually Flint Stones. Pronounce it that way.
Right.
So there's a lot of these weird things that have seemingly been changed in our past, and that's really what the Mandela effect is all about. These like these small circumstances, these small events, small items being changed, and there's millions of people that remember it that way. And then there's other people who just say, "Oh, well, it's just faulty memory. It's just all faulty memories." But it doesn't make sense when millions of people are saying, "Okay, like Febreze is not spelled Ferbreze, like with one E. Febreze would be spelled with two E's, is how I remember it."
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really remember that one exactly, but yeah, there's a lot of other examples of it. But like, okay, say somebody was able to change like the past, and all the changes would reflect. Like, what would be the reason for them to do that?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, is it just like to mess with people, you know?
Yeah, I think you know it. If you did have that power, then that would be. Uh, I mean, you'd be extremely powerful because you could just change. You're literally changing the past, and it's reflecting into the future.
And some people like to talk about the conspiracy about that thing called CERN, CERN. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. So, how did that relate to the Mandela effect?
They say that it creates like multiple realities or like multiple universes. Like
Oh, okay.
like I don't know. They said something like it can create like a black hole, and then add to that, that can affect our timelines.
Hmm.
But there's no proof of this. You know, it's just all
Right.
speculation. All speculation. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you've heard of the term barbiturate, right?
Yes.
Like, how do you remember it being spelled?
Um, Barbituate, something like that.
Yeah, that's actually how I remember it, but it's actually Barbiturate, like barbiturate.
Yeah. No, I don't remember it like that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the
either.
real spelling. That's the real spelling of it.
Yeah, that's like if you search on Google right now, that's what's gonna pop up.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like why would someone change these little details? Like to what end, right?
Right. Like the only way I could see is like just to prepare us for more and more larger changes. Like we get to the point where, oh yeah, our memories are fallible, and it actually was like how it is now. So stuff like how do people like? There's another one, Star Wars. Uh, you know, Everybody remembers Luke, I am your father, but
Right.
supposedly
But
they
it's
said
actually
no.
like, no, I am your father.
Right, like nobody remembers that, and nobody would say Luke, I am your father. Because people used to joke
Because
about,
yeah, like in popular culture, the line is Luke, I am your father. Like even in I think that movie Tommy Boy, when Chris Farley is speaking into the fan, he's like, Luke, I am your father, and the fan's going. And
right,
so it's like, so in popular culture, the line is Luke, I am your father, but in the actual movie, it's no, I am your father. So you gotta wonder, like, was that change?
And what about Forrest Gump? You know, he said life is like a box of chocolates, or what did he say?
Oh, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, yeah. Like say the whole line. What do you remember it being?
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, they said he said life was like a box of chocolates. Yeah, life
Interesting.
was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get next. Like I don't know. That's weird. I never. Or did you ever watch Mister Rogers' Neighborhood?
Oh yeah, Mr. Rogers for sure.
Okay, how did the theme song go?
Uh, that I don't remember.
Okay, it's a wonderful day.
Oh, it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
So yeah, that's actually wrong. It's a wonderful day in this neighborhood.
See, that's strange. Because why will we remember it the other way?
Right. Get that?
And there's just so many of these small changes to the past. You gotta wonder, like, is it like, are there multiple realities? Are there multiple universes that are playing themselves out in real time where there's different circumstances, different changes to one universe, and then you have another timeline that has different events happening?
Yeah, I don't think this many people can have like faulty memories to where like we're all just forgetting. You know, like misremembering. Uh, obvious things like it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Like that's what everybody remembers. Not it's a wonderful day in this neighborhood. That doesn't even sound right.
Exactly, exactly. How come everyone remembers it the other way?
So yeah, there's something weird going on, and there's one.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
It could. Okay, so you've heard of like simulation theory. Like okay, this world is a
Simulation
simulation.
theory, like we live in a holographic universe theory.
Yeah, well, I kind of look at it more. Like so think about like an AI in a video game world. So like
Right,
maybe like there's like a superpower that created a world, and this superpower has ability to alter the rules, or somebody who's outside of the world has ability to alter the rules of that world.
right.
So have you heard of like GTA 5 role play?
Yes,
Okay, so yeah, something like that. But like okay, say for example, you have like a JPEG texture or something. If you go mod the game and replace the texture with a different texture, then all the instances where the old thing appeared is going to be gone, and it's going to show the new thing.
right,
So like if that's how I think it could happen. Like if the entities outside of this world are able to alter like some kind of asset of this world, and all instances of it get changed everywhere.
right. And they talk about like residue, like okay, the Berenstein Bears. It's supposedly it was Berenstain, but there's a VHS that they showed it. There's a YouTube clip of it. They show a VHS tape where on the side of it it says Berenstein, but then on
Right.
the front of it it says Berenstain. So it's like, what's going on with that? How come we can find actual evidence of this? I think they call it like residue.
Okay. Yeah. So like all instances didn't get changed.
Right, whoever's changing stuff, they change most of it, but there's certain parts that kind of like get left in the past and are unchanged, and that's
Right.
kind of the proof that there's something going on.
I got one more. You remember like Smokey the Bear?
Smokey the Bear, yeah,
So they actually say it's Smokey Bear.
yeah, that's strange. I never heard that before.
Right. because smoke or Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fire.
Only
That's
you
what
can
I
prevent
remember.
forest fires. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, it's really weird, like how we clearly remember this stuff, and we're not in proximity to each other, so it's not like we could be both influenced by the same thing,
Right,
but we both have the memory of it being this one way that they say it's not.
right.
But yeah, I mean, if it's real, then I mean that's an incredible power to wield.
Yeah, no, I wonder what it's all about. It makes me think that there's like multiple universes going on at once. These like, holographic universe where it's more like the Matrix kind of a reality.
Right. So, like, interestingly enough, the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and, the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So,
Right,
if you think, like, what do you use to program? You use a programming language.
right,
So, a language consists of words, right?
sure.
So, if what is the word? You know what I mean? Like, if could it be like God's programming language, or a programming language is an attempt to emulate what God does,
Right, right,
and if the say like GTA 5 or whatever, if that can be modified and then the whole world changes, and if that's emulating how God created the world, then why can't the actual world be modified?
exactly, exactly.
And I think the purpose of that would be like, you just pretty much control reality if you're able to change instances of anything, like, and people, so people remember it that way, but you change to something completely different, like you almost have complete control over reality at that point.
And it's almost like whoever's doing it is messing with us because they know that like these small little changes, it's hard to prove.
Right.
Because people would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's just faulty memory. It's just faulty memory. You're all remembering it wrong." But to me, when millions of people all remember Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears, there's something
Right.
going on there. There's something deeper going on there.
Yeah, I think like everybody be like, "Oh, those are trivial examples. Why would somebody do it?" But it'd be to condition you to accept larger changes later. It's
Right.
to make you think, "Hey, your memory really is faulty." So this is what it actually was.
Like to get you to doubt yourself, you're saying.
Right. For like when they start making greater changes later, you can be like, "I really don't remember it being like this."
Yeah, and then at that point everyone's just second guessing their memory.
Right. Exactly. Because I do remember, like in the Bible, they said like, the lion will lie down with a lamb, but they actually say it's the wolf will lie down with a lamb.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
Yeah, so it's like, if you could go back and just completely change things, then yeah, that's an incredible amount of control that you have, because you can completely rewrite history.
Right, you could rewrite history for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about this a while ago, and it's always kind of in the back of my mind, like, what is this really about?
Right. Yeah. I thought it was kind of stupid at first, like, yeah, whatever. But the more I looked into it, I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is like really weird.
Well, there's a lot of different YouTube channels, a lot of different YouTube videos about the Mandela effect, and I've watched a lot of them, and it's definitely food for thought.
Yeah, I think what makes it like worth considering is because these are like popular culture items that a lot of people remember being one way.
Right, like the Berenstain Bears, for instance.
Or you, what did you call, those adult diapers? Like, what do you
Oh,
remember it? Yeah,
depends, right?
yeah, with
Depends
an S.
with an S.
Right, but if you actually look at it, they say it's depend.
Oh, that's crazy.
So like, I don't remember anybody calling them depend.
No, I've never heard that. I've never heard that before.
So yeah, how do so many people have a faulty memory?
Yeah, it doesn't add up. I think there's some kind of manipulation going on with reality, and maybe this is really a simulation, and there's someone that's like messing with the computer programming code, and they're changing the past.
Right,
So more
it's a
like
possibility.
like the Matrix, more like the Matrix.
Right, there's definitely a possibility. Like I don't see why that would be beyond being a possibility, especially with all the other weird stuff that's been going on.
Because I don't know about you, when I first saw the Matrix, I was like, wow, like that it hit on a really deep level. And I was like, this could be like reality. This could really be what's going on. There's a whole like other layer of reality.
Right. Because I mean, even if you think of like a video game world, like I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like they use Unreal Engine 5 and they created this like Matrix video game world. And the
Okay.
AI, they use Chat GPT to populate it with AI bots. And
Interesting.
the person went in the world and started talking to the bots, and the bots didn't know they were in like a quote unquote simulation world.
Right.
So for that AI bot, that world they were in is reality.
Right. That's interesting.
So yeah, that's like why would it be impossible for us to be in a similar situation?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even if you read the Bible, it said there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. You know what I mean? So where's the old one going to go, or how's it going to, just disappear?
Yeah, no, I mean, the Mandela effect, it definitely raises a lot of questions about like what is reality, because if people can modify our past, then what else can they do to manipulate reality?
Right. Exactly. And I know people who, who've been taking like those hallucinogenic drugs and all of that kind of stuff. They're like time is only a construct, and once you get out of this dimension, there's like no concept of time.
Yeah, I mean, I used to trip a lot on mushrooms and ayahuasca, and like anytime you're really deep into a psychedelic trip, you have this realization that time isn't real, or in just like the general sense of how we take time to be, you realize that it's just a construct. It's not really real.
So yeah, like when like can you describe like what that actually like feels like? Like okay, time not being real.
It's one of those things with psychedelics where you can't really describe it when you're not on the drug. It's
Okay,
like it's kind of like intangible. You can't really wrap your head around it, but you can.
right.
I mean, you can experience it. Like if you trip on mushrooms, you'll experience. If you take enough, you'll experience this sense of, oh, time isn't real. Time is just like a human construct. It's not the real reality. But like to describe it outside of the trip, it's very difficult to put words to it.
So is it kind of like okay, like say you have a dream. The dream seems like 5 minutes, but you're really sleeping for like 8 hours, or vice versa. Like you take a 30-minute nap, but the dream seems like like days have passed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting.
For sure. Yeah, for sure it is. I mean, I do really wonder what it's all about. Like, what is the manipulation doing? Like, to what end are we going to be manipulated our past?
Well, I think okay, just say it was like a sinister force. If it was, they can control and rewrite history, rewrite everything that we know to be true, and that would give them kind of control over the minds of humanity.
Well, it's like how people believe in like a shadowy group of people, the Illuminati, whatever. People believe, like, like Jay-Z is a part of the Illuminati, Beyonce. There's all these rumors about that kind of stuff going on.
Right. Yeah. I would probably say they probably, like, if there is that group, they're probably like associates and not like real. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
real members you wouldn't see, like the of the this like elite shadowy group.
Yeah, they're not going to be in the spotlight, in other words.
Exactly. Because
Yeah, so
if you
you
are,
gotta wonder. You gotta wonder with the Mandela effect. Is this the Illuminati controlling our history?
I mean, who knows? Yeah, at this point, just speculation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But yeah, that makes you wonder about the if that is possible. What else is possible?
Right. If
Like,
they could change stuff like that's just like real trivial, like Berenstein Bears, Berenstain Bears, spelling of Febreze with two E's or one E. Like this stuff is just it's so trivial and petty. Like it
right,
doesn't really mean anything. And it's almost like the changes are just meant to mess with us and to get millions of people to be like, wait a second, like this is not what I remember.
right. Yeah, it undermines the credibility you have in your memory, and you're like, well, something, maybe this many people did have faulty memory. So when bigger things start changing, you're like, oh, well, this is how it always was.
Right. So then you're just accepting of the changes without question. You're like, oh, well, my memory's faulty. The Mandela effect is just all, faulty memories. But no, I think the Mandela effect is real. And I think it is some kind of manipulation on some level. To what extent, I don't know. But it's
Right,
definitely some type of manipulation going on.
right. I mean, because who would have? Okay, if you would have said, even in the '90s, like, hey, you're going to be able to talk to AI and it's going to be able to do your homework for you. But, oh, that's stupid. Like, there's no way that's possible.
Yeah, no way. No way.
And if they unleashed it this quick, like AI just really seemed like it popped out of nowhere, to the level of power that it is.
Oh,
They
all
had
of a sudden, yeah, all of a
right,
sudden, Chat GPT could talk to another chatbot. They can converse. They can sing together. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, I didn't know we had these kind of capabilities.
right. So to me, they've been had like this technology locked behind closed doors, but they just kind of like slowly filtering it through to
Slowly
mainstream
filtering it
society.
out to us. Yeah, slowly dishing it out to us.
Exactly. So like the ability to alter if time is just a construct, then you could probably alter it. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So if they had the ability to alter time and rewrite the past, that's like you wouldn't want everybody to know about it, because if you knew that people had the ability to alter the past, then you would know that something is up when they try to propose these changes.
Right, absolutely.
Like, imagine a world where, like, okay, say for example, like the Nazis rewrite history to where,
Right. Where they
oh, we
won
never
or
did
something.
that, right? Or like
It's
slave
like if you're
masters.
looking at like multiple timelines where like World War II, instead of, the Nazis losing, what if they had won?
Right,
What would the world look like if Hitler had taken over, like the US and England and, wherever else?
right. It's just like, what if wicked people could just wipe their deeds out from the past, and yeah, like you say, that now you think, oh, okay, man, maybe these people aren't so bad.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if this exists, like this is like technology that probably should be banned. Like, you don't want people being able to just alter something at the most fundamental level.
But yeah, I mean, to go back to talking about AI, isn't it interesting that like all of a sudden AI is everywhere? And
Right,
truly mean AI is everywhere. Like you go on a LinkedIn and it says, do you want AI to help you type your post?
right.
And I'm just seeing AI crop up like everywhere. And even in commercials, they're talking about AI on TV. And like, what is this big push with AI? Like all of a sudden, why is there this big push?
So in the Terminator, then they have to like go back in time. It's been like a long time since I watched the movie or whatever, but then they have to go back in time to kind of like fix the issue.
Yes. You talking about
So
Terminator 1 or Terminator 2?
I can't remember, but I do remember, like, I think
Okay.
they had to do like, do time travel, and kind of like before they made the AI or something.
Well, yeah, they wanted to go back and basically, I don't even really remember now that I'm thinking about it, but they wanted to change something, so they sent one of the robots back in time, and then they also sent Arnold Schwarzenegger back in time. So it's like you got two robots both being sent back in time to change the present.
Right. Like, so like you say for example, humanity did something that we know is going to be disastrous, and now we realize we have to go back in time and fix it.
Well, it's interesting to think about, okay, if the Mandela effect is real and there is some shadowy group of people, running the country, running the world, changing different world events just to mess with people, like to what end? Like what is this technology going to be used for? Like whether it's AI or whether it's not, like what is this technology ultimately going to be used for?
I think to me, like if I was to, if I was some kind of entity to use it, I would change the past to correlate to the outcome that I want, whatever that may be. Like, okay, say for example, if I was like a nation that was on the losing end of a war, you just rewind time, and now I'm the winner.
Right.
So, like, what would AI, if AI was able to manipulate this technology, what would it use it for? Maybe it would uh, use it to alter human timeline in the history that would give it the most, advantageous situation of dominating, something like that.
Well, I know, I mean, people like Elon Musk are saying, oh, AI is dangerous. You need to put in safeguards or we're going to, destroy ourselves, basically.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, if AI could access this kind of technology, like it could change the past at a whim, then how do you even beat that?
Yeah,
Because
I mean, how are you going to come up against that?
like even if you beat it in one dimension, it's just gonna rewind and you have to go and face it again. You know.
Right, like if there's multiple timelines, if there's multiple realities all existing at the same time, and this group of people can just go back and change stuff, on a whim, just whenever they want, it makes it like impossible to fight against because these people are able to change the past.
Right. And so yeah, the reason you would do it on inconsequential stuff is to get people to doubt that anything's being changed at all because people knew about this and they would one other entities would try to fight over this technology and to the public, they're gonna probably get their pitchforks out knowing that somebody can
Yeah.
change
Well,
timelines.
it's funny because the stuff that they're changing is so trivial. Like, a children's book, Berenstain Bears. Why change it to Berenstain? Just to mess with people? Like, that's what I wonder. Like, to what end are these alterations being made, and what is to come of it?
Well, yeah, I would say just to undermine people's confidence in their own memory. So once they say, "Hey,
Right.
my memory's fallible," then they start
Then they can
changing.
make more changes. They can go in and make more changes, and then be like, "Oh, my memory is faulty, so I guess that must be true."
Yeah, exactly.
No, that I think you hit on something there. I think that's probably what's going on. Is they're messing with us. They're changing little events to make people think that they're crazy. They're going nuts. Like Berenstain. Like, what's the difference here? Why is this? What is this all about? I think it starts to make people question, like you said, question their own memory. Is my memory faulty? And if people just assume that their memory is faulty, then this group of people, whoever they are, that are manipulating reality, how much more can they kind of push the envelope?
Well, yeah, they could just change things without scrutiny. The
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when you really start making the changes that you actually want, but were afraid to before. Like you're accustoming people to doubt their memory.
Right. And then, yeah, I mean, with all these conspiracies about like the Illuminati, New World Order, you got to wonder, like, where do all those ideas come from? That there's this like shadowy group of people pulling the strings, kind of like a Wizard of Oz kind of situation.
Yeah, man, it could be some credibility in that. Like, why wouldn't people want to get together to dominate reality? I mean, it happens everywhere else in life. Like
And especially like we're talking about with AI, like, okay, now AI is in vogue, AI is everywhere all of a sudden, but like, how advanced do you think it really is? Like, behind closed doors, what is AI able to do? If AI can already communicate with itself, and AI can sing with itself, and AI can determine the lighting in the room that you're in, like, what else is it going to be able to do? Like, what else are they holding back from us right now?
You're like, well, I mean, they probably already told us what they really have in all of these movies. Like, why there's so many movies with the exact same plot of hyper advanced AI or robots
Oh,
that
taking
are
over the world,
right,
basically.
they're fighting with
Like,
humanity.
like that Will Smith one, iRobot.
What was the one, Space Odyssey?
Oh yeah, he's 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, like I think it was the name of the AI, HAL or something, HAL 2000.
Oh yeah, that's a cool movie, man. That's a really good movie.
Right. So like why do they keep all these movies have the same sort of theme? You know what I mean? So it's like, are we being warned, or are people just creatively bankrupt? Or,
Or like you got movies like Judge Dredd. I think the original had Sylvester Stallone in it, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just basically like, all of your information is all stored in one place. And if the government just wants to shut you off, they just flip a switch and you're done.
Yeah. So how is like reality looking eerily like that? So
Yeah, because like you said in one of our other episodes, we're talking about it's called Neuralink, right?
right.
Yeah, what is that all? That's from Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk is like connecting your brain so it can interface with computers or, connect to the internet. So,
So it's
he's like,
like kind of like the Matrix, like you're being like hardwired into something.
right. So, like, I mean, to me, if you can control the machine with your brainwave, why can't the machine control your mind, by sending a electrical signal? So,
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious to see. I mean, we're still fairly young, late 30s, early 40s. We're going to see a lot of changes as as we progress, as we get older. We're going to see some crazy AI, some crazy virtual reality. It's going to have us all questioning like, what is reality at the end of the day?
right. 'Cause, I mean, did you think reality was going to be like this, in the 90s, like where, oh,
Well,
yeah,
no way.
AI, you could just use that to, make
Write your book
images and,
reports. Yeah, write book reports.
right. Or even like
Yeah, like
robot dogs.
me as a kid, like, doing my homework assignments in the 90s, I can never imagine you just be able to type to a robot, like, hey, summarize this for me, read this book, and, print me out a story or print me out a book report. Like, that's mind blowing. And, back in the 90s.
Exactly. So just think about like from the 1900s to now. So that's about 125 years close to uh,
Sure.
the 1900s were like primitive times, like horse and carriage, and maybe that were like steam engines.
Right, and then
But
like early 1900s was the first car, right? The Model T.
right, yeah, Model T. So how do we go from that? So prior to that, there was like thousands of years of known recorded human history.
Right.
So how do we go from being like ultra primitive and then just 125 years later, all of a sudden we have like, rocket ships, airplanes, AI robots.
Traveling to the moon.
Exactly. So like,
Yeah, I
how,
mean, who could have predicted that we'd be this advanced this early on? Like you're saying, like back in the 90s, it's mind blowing to think about what this AI is able to do. Like, um, I have a drum lesson website I created recently. It's brianrussick.com, and AI created the website. I just used
right,
this program called Wix.com. They make it easy to make business websites and stuff like that. And so I went on there when I was going to create the site, and I was prepared to, have to do a bunch of stuff, but really the AI just asked me a couple of questions, and then it generated the site for me, and it came up with some really nice sounding copy for the bio, and I was just like, wow, this is better than anything I could have written myself that the AI
right.
wrote. And that's just kind of mind blowing. Like web development is going to be replaced by AI. If Wix.com already has these types of capabilities of creating websites on the fly like that, I think a lot of front end developers, a lot of software engineers working on the front end are going to start to lose their jobs to this technology.
Yeah, like, WordPress developers, things like that. But, even the concept of the internet would sound completely insane to somebody like even in the like the 1900s or maybe even 1950s. Like, oh yeah,
Right.
you can talk to anybody anywhere in the world. You can view anywhere in the world. Like people be like, nah, I think you're lying. That's crazy.
Right, like the capability to talk, so to be in the U.S. and be able to communicate with a kid in China or a
Right.
kid in or, in Russia or wherever, Israel, wherever, being able to communicate online, digitally, in real time. Like, yeah, in the 1950s, that would have seemed like sci-fi.
Yeah, like even this show, nobody would have thought would be possible, like, in the 1970s or something, except, people that actually seen the technology, like the government people, military people who
Right.
seen the development of internet, but everybody else would be like, there's no way a guy in New York and a guy in Texas can make a show that's broadcast to the rest of the world.
Right, where you could tune in from any country.
Exactly.
Yeah, the reach of it is pretty incredible. The reach.
Exactly. So it's kind of like they've already had this technology in the books, but they filtered it out to the rest of humanity. So if they had this like ability to alter timelines, they're not going to roll it out immediately. They're going to accustom you to small
Slow
changes.
drip. Slow drip.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's I don't know what's to come next, but all I know is that if AI can talk to AI, we're in trouble. That's my viewpoint. We are in trouble if AI can already communicate with itself. What is it going to start planning against the humans?
Right. I mean, we already seen the public AI can do that. So whatever
Yeah,
they have in a government lab somewhere, is way more advanced.
that's probably mind blowing what AI is actually able to do.
I think there's a reason that Elon Musk, Bill Gates, all of these guys are so scared because they've seen, the real manifestation of it, and it's like, this thinking if
They could take
AI,
over ultimately.
yeah, it probably already is in control of the world, but we just don't know it. It's like manipulating all these big wigs to do what it wants. Like, hey, I want you to build these robot factories for me. Connect everybody to the internet for me. Like, why are these tech titans so adamant on connecting everything to the internet, allowing all devices to be manipulated on the internet? Uh, you know,
Yeah, no, I mean, it reminds me of that movie Judge Dredd, where it's like, a switch could be flipped and then you're done. You're shut off, you're cut off.
right,
It sounds to me like that's the world we're moving towards, where like you're gonna be your whole existence is boiled down to like an ID card, and you swipe that ID card to get access to stuff. But if the government wants to shut that down, they can just totally block you out of everything, and then you have no access to your money. You have no access to anything really at that point, which is what reminds me of Judge Dredd. And I think we're going, as a human species, I think we're going more in that Judge Dredd direction of, okay, we're just boiled down to like a credit card, and what happens when they want to cut up that credit card.
I mean, yeah, all of this is pretty much in the Bible and Revelations. You can't buy or sell unless you get the mark of the beast, and it's something that's either implanted in your right hand or in your forehead. So to
Yeah,
me,
Revelation, Revelations is some crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff in there.
right. So if the AI is malicious and it's telling people the tech titans to do this, then I mean it looks like that's where we're headed.
Well, yeah, like you said, if Elon Musk, if Bill Gates are openly, putting forth their concerns that look, AI is really powerful. We need to have checks and balances along the way. I mean, these are pretty, I would say, geniuses. Pretty smart
Right.
guys. And if they're telling humanity, hey, like, we need checks and balances here, God only knows what this technology is actually capable of doing, and is maybe all, like you said, maybe it's already doing things from behind the curtain. Like, and that brings us back to the Mandela effect. Like, is the Mandela effect real? And I would say yes, and it could be intertwined with AI.
Yeah, so I feel like the Mandela effect. We would really call it timeline alteration, the ability to rewind or change assets in the world, and then our future is now altered.
Yeah, it's like,
And
I mean, if you're going to look at the world, like there's a book called The Holographic Universe where it talks about reality basically being a hologram. I think there's probably a lot of truth in that. And if that is true, then AI can manipulate it and pretty much, have us do its bidding.
right, like you just need to go as far as a video game. Like, okay, say I'm playing GTA 5 role playing, and
Yeah,
then I take out a model for a default model of a car, then I put in like a Chevy Camaro. So now I have
yeah,
a Chevy Camaro in the game where it didn't exist before, and it replaced whatever that old model was.
right.
So why can't that type of thing exist? In real life, once they've unlocked the mechanism to do it.
Yeah, I think definitely there's some shadiness. There's stuff going on in secrecy behind closed doors. I'm sure AI is involved in a lot of this stuff. And I just don't get the. I mean, it really freaked me out to watch that AI video where two AIs are communicating with each other. That just really freaked me out.
Right. Like you think about even electricity. How absurd would that sound to people using candles for light? That you can use like this thing called electricity, and you can have light
Yeah, I
whenever
mean,
you want it.
it sounds like magic to the
Exactly.
primitive person.
Exactly. Like you remember Benjamin Franklin and the kite and the lightning and all of that. The
Yes,
key.
yes.
Like people be like, yeah, that sounds stupid. Back before electricity, was really discovered. People, oh, that's stupid. That's like black magic or something.
Right, that's witchcraft.
Or like the quote unquote rationalist would tell you, no, that's obscene. Nobody's ever seen that. You're being stupid.
Right, and then you have people like Tesla who are, unearthing all kinds of stuff, obviously not getting the credit when you look back in the history books. Tesla was done dirty by a lot of people. I think he had his lab burnt down by J.P. Morgan or something like that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of the Tesla's discoveries. A lot of his papers and stuff they were taken, and I believe
Yeah,
like
his research was taken by other scientists, and I think I forget, was it Benjamin Franklin who took some of Tesla's ideas?
Thomas Edison
Oh
really
my,
was the.
Thomas Edison. I mean Thomas Edison. Yeah.
But yeah, you see it all the time. Like there's all these people that supposedly discover to make engines run on water, and then they mysteriously end up dead. It's
And
like,
they disappear off the face of the earth after they come up with this fantastic technology, and then the technology is never realized because that person's gone all of a sudden.
right, there's people that really do want to be in control, and if there's something that's unleashed that removes their ability to control, then they'll start taking people out. Just even think about the U.S. Why are we on in all of these foreign wars? Do you really think we're spreading democracy and freedom, or is it some kind of resource we want?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a reason behind, like the Afghanistan war or the Iraq war. Like a lot of that probably has to do with resources and oil and really just dollars and cents. At the end of the day, I think most wars are about money.
Right. We want to keep, we want to keep these other countries on the petrodollar. So if they
Yeah,
make a notion of getting off, then then we're gonna go spread democracy over there.
Yeah, and that's always what you're told. Oh, we're spreading democracy. We're bringing democracy to these people who don't have it. We're liberating them.
Right,
You know, the U.S. is the greatest nation in the world, and all other nations should be like us. I mean, that's why the United States is so hated all over the world. Like, I remember going to Germany when I was younger. I used to be in a band, and we did a European tour. And when we're in Germany, you'd be out at a bar, and someone's like, "Oh, are you American?" The second you say you're American, they're gonna start like digging into you.
right. Yeah, you're. I know a lot of Europeans. They're not too fond of America, but that's most of the
Not at
world
all.
also.
Yeah, I mean, I think they look at it like, we can't mind our business. We have to be in everyone else's business. We have to be in every war.
Right. But I mean, there's truth in it. A lot of Americans say the same thing. Like, why are we always in war?
That's the thing. It's like, so we support Israel, but we don't support Palestine. What's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know, but
I think it all comes down to money. I think money is the backdrop of all this stuff.
yeah, you just gotta you know like what you're being told differs than what things are actually like. Like some group, that's why I don't look at it as insane that there's a rich group of elite trying to manipulate things for control behind the scenes because it's common sense. Like there's people that want to dominate. You even go to corporate America, somebody
Yeah,
wants to be the top dog CEO,
top
and
dog. Yeah.
you gotta do anything to get there. So if you can control the world, you've had people like Alexander the Great and others who wanted to, like conquer the world.
World domination. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
like
So
Hitler. That's what Hitler was trying to do. World domination.
right. So why is it obscene to think that there's still people out there that want to do that? And now that we have even more robust technology, we're going to try to take advantage of it to accomplish that.
Exactly. And it kind of makes me think about I have an uncle. I think he's in his 80s now, but he was like a kind of like a high powered executive. He used to be the CFO of Wonder Bread and some other large companies. And I just remember him telling his sister, my mom, he was like, at the top, it gets dirtier and dirtier.
Yeah, I believe it. You can even see it in school, like the ultra competitive schools, like, students will sabotage other students so that they can, get the best grade and be number one, valedictorian, and all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So if that's occurring on that level, when serious money and power is involved, then, you know, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that there's some dirty play in hand.
Yeah, I think and to bring it back to the beginning. Our question today is the Mandela effect real? I think yes. I think AI is involved. I think maybe CERN, CERN, that particle collider or whatever that is, that might have something to do with creating alternate realities. Because there's something really weird going on with this Mandela effect. There's really something strange about it, and I just know in the back of my head there is something going on with it. I just don't know what it is.
Right. So I mean, I could see. I definitely think that they're researching the ability to alter reality at base levels. Like they've been doing that since forever. That's why we have electricity. We have
Yeah,
all these other things, even AI. You know, and me personally, I think AI is not what people think it is. People just feel like, oh, it's just advanced statistics, choosing the next, the next likely response in a sequence. But
right. Like machine learning.
yeah, I mean, if that's all that is, then how are AI able to come to new conclusions or look at something, identify it, and give a rational analysis of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
that's
mean, like I was saying before about like just the fact that all right, we're in 2024 and AI can already communicate with AI. Like
right,
how much more advanced are we going to get over the next couple of years? Like what kind of programs are they going to roll out? Because like we see like left and right now, AI is in vogue. AI is everywhere,
right.
and you just got to wonder like to what end? Like, at what point are we going to say enough's enough? Let's maybe start scaling back on some of this AI stuff, like Elon Musk is saying. Let's put some safeguards down.
Like when did Chat GPT like really come out and people started using it? That was like it was only like 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Couple years, yeah.
Yeah, so there, I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that they've just had so many breakthroughs with AI that it just turned into this utterly amazing thing in 3 or 4 years. Like they've been had this,
Right.
they're just rolling it out now.
Yeah, they've been sitting on this, I think, and just waiting for when the time is right, when people are going to be accepting of it, when people are going to be accepting of robots. I mean, like in Japan, you have a hotel run by robots. It's only
Right,
robots as the staff. Like that's intense, but you can see that humans are getting more and more comfortable with robots. And we have all these movies with high tech AI robots, kind of like they're slowly rolling it out. And I wonder
right.
what the end game is.
Like if you think about it, just about like all the concepts we've seen in cartoons and movies, they're reality now. So I'm sure like some of the ones that you haven't seen yet, they have it. Like the concept of portals, uh, you know, mind control, all of that stuff. Like
You mean more
uh,
like video, like stuff that shows up in video games?
movies, video games, because
Yeah,
they've been talking about robots for a long time. Like
long
in
time,
movies, I even like think about Star Wars. When did that come out? In the '70s or so?
something like that. Yeah,
And then they got robots in that, and they got robots prior, and movies prior to that,
right.
and stuff that people keep rejecting. They keep trying to revive and push it on us, like VR headsets.
Right, like virtual reality, they keep trying to push that. And then, people will try it out. They'll be like, it's not so great, or oh, it makes me nauseous, or whatever. And
Right,
then it goes away. But then, okay, a couple years later, boom, just like AI is everywhere, virtual reality is everywhere too now.
right. They keep trying to revive it. So to me, it's like it's part of a grander plan. It has a purpose in that plan. We just don't know it, but it's critical to the plan, which is why they keep reviving it. Because naturally, if something fails, you're not going to invest billions more dollars trying to bring it back.
Right, right. And I think it brings us right back to the beginning. Is the Mandela effect real? And I would say yes, but do we know what it's about or why it's happening? That's a capital no. We have no idea why the Mandela effect is happening, but clearly there's something going on here. There's not going to be millions of people with faulty memory. I just don't buy that.
Yeah, I do. I do feel like you know, they do have probably the ability to alter time behind the scenes, but they're not going to tell us because one, they don't want to be under, scrutiny. You know, it's going to be regulated. All this other kind. People are going to fight over the technology. So, I mean, if you had this super powerful ability, you're not going to tell everybody about it. You're just going to keep quiet and just quietly use it.
It's like that movie Arnold Schwarzenegger, Eraser. You remember the gun in that movie?
I never seen that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to check that out. But this gun, it's like super advanced. It's like I don't know if it's laser powered or what it is, but it just like destroys. And it's just yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's an interesting movie.
So like, what does she end up doing with the gun, or like, what is the significance of it in the movie?
It's been a long time since I seen it, but I think like the technology comes out and then they're smuggling these guns to like different countries, getting it in the hands of like bad guys and stuff like that. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's trying to like, bring peace and bring some rules. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
But
like,
yeah, I haven't caught that in a while. Eraser. It's a good movie.
okay, yeah, I've never heard of it, but yeah, it's
I think it's from the I think it's from the late '90s.
okay. Yeah, I have to probably do some research on that movie.
Yeah, check it out for sure. But I guess that's a good spot to end things for today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of interesting conversation. Like, I'm not telling y'all to believe this or not. It's just an interesting phenomenon, and you have to accept that there's a possibility that this can be happening.
Yeah, I think it's a reminder that it's good to question reality. What is reality? Can reality be manipulated? If it can be manipulated, who's doing the manipulation? And on and on and on.
Or like, if everything is digital, you definitely can manipulate the records or everything, because, like, if say you have an AI that can comb through all the JPEGs of something and just change the image. Like, you can already do that now. Like, it's called, like,
Right.
Canva, like the magical eraser. You would select like an orange and then have the AI replace it with an apple. It can do that.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah, I don't
imagine
doubt it. I don't doubt it.
imagine being able to do that on a wide scale. You know.
Yeah, well, for sure, like I said, we're still fairly young. We're going to really live to see a lot of technology get rolled out.
Right. But yeah,
So
we're
yeah, it is exciting. It definitely, it's scary, but it's exciting at the same time.
yeah, we'll definitely continue this one in another episode.
For sure, for sure. I'll just end with saying I'm teaching drum lessons in Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. So if you need a new drum teacher, hit me up. My website is brianrussick.com. Spell that for you. It's BrianRussick.com.
All right, appreciate you stopping by. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.